Keith Farmer. Keith is a Madison County native, Madison Central graduate, Morehead State graduate, worked at YMT. I couldn't remember. YMT in Hazard. Went to Channel 18 for a brief time. Then went up to Louisville for 13 years with WLKY TV. And he's been back now 12 years at WLEX TV. Co-host of the world-famous BBN Tonight. I know that a lot of people in this room watch that every weekday. But, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Farmer.
Well, thank you. I'm really happy to be back once again. I don't know why they keep asking me back because Reverend Mayor Blythe, I would listen to him read the phone book. I don't know why, but I guess he's too busy. We'll let him enjoy himself here. And so I do really enjoy being back here, because for me, this is one of those things, whether you moved here and you became an athlete at one of the, at EKU or UK or whatever it may be, or if we started out at one of the elementary schools and all that, it's just good in one night. We've even got Tennessee and Mississippi State represented tonight. But hey, we're all Madison Countyans, right? So I love that part of it. I want to quickly get a couple of things out of the way. First, John Hamilton is here tonight. Made a quick recovery. Good to see you here. Stand up, please. Treasurer. Just wave then. Just wave. There you go. Also, WBON is live streaming this, correct, Gage? Live streaming this right now. It will be on Facebook for 30 days, and they've created a new thing where it goes away after that, but should be on YouTube anytime. So you should be able to go back and watch it on YouTube there. So just wanted to get those couple of things out of the way. Also, we're pretty informal here. If you haven't been to one of these, sometimes it gets a little warm in here in this room after a while, so if you want to take the jacket off, relax a little bit, pull the tie down, go for it, because we just want to celebrate all of our Madison County Hall of Famers here tonight. We're going to start off tonight with our teams. We're going to start with the model girls swimming teams of 1969, 70, and 71. We'd like to honor them. The model girls swim team, these were coached by Daniel Lichty, captured the Class 2A Kentucky Swim Championship each year with not only impressive teamwork, but individual awards in the 50 freestyle, 100 freestyle, 200 freestyle, 400 freestyle, 100 breaststroke, and the 400 relay. With true commitment to the sport in their school, these women represented the best in girls sports in Madison County in the early 70s. Tonight, we'd like to present the following team members who were able to attend with certificates upon their team's induction into the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame. Karen Knizovich is going to come up and hand out those certificates now. So if you are here and you can make your way up here, Clara Smith, Pat Metcalf, Beth Kirkpatrick, yeah.
Wait. Oh, no. Yeah.
Stand right here, Pat. I didn't really want one. Too bad. Once, my cousin.
Coy Wiggins
That's not yours.
and Karen Powell.
Come on, Coy.
Betsy Smith, Libby Roberts,
Jeez.
Kathy Combs,
Oh, Betsy.
look at the certificate. All right, did I get Tammy Thompson? Okay, Tammy Thompson. Missy Smith. Cheryl Combs. And Margie Muncie.
Oh, you're the sweetheart.
Margie's the last one,
Margie's
if she's here.
special. She's here.
Yeah, there she is.
Did you give yourself your own certificate? Uh-huh. Mary McKinney?
Oh, Mary Mac McKinney. Sorry, missed you. That's where we got out of order.
I thought, wait, that's the one.
Oh, awesome. My night's done then.
You're going to get an award for that. Thank you. Thanks.
All right, a round of applause for that team, the Model Girls Swim Team. All right, it's now our great pleasure to recognize the boys swim teams from the Berea Foundation School on their induction into the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame. The 1950, 1953, and 1954 teams from the Berea Foundation School captured the Class B Kentucky State Championship titles. The team and the swim program at Berea Foundation and Berea College were led by Coach Oscar H. Gunkler. Coach Gunkler and his teams exhibited not only strength in the sport, but tenacity for winning and building a lasting program of excellence. Tonight we are joined by representatives from Berea College, and accepting the award on behalf of the teams is Carol Gunkler Johnson, the daughter of the late Coach Gunkler, and Charles Fisk, one of the swimmers, is also here tonight. If you all will please come forward. Presenting those certificates is Donna Lovell.
My name is Carol Gunkler. My dad was Aki Gunkler, was the athletic director at Berea College for about 40 years. And when he came to Berea College in 1930, the Seabury Foundation had just donated a beautiful, big swimming complex that included a basketball court and handball courts and squash and all kinds of amazing things at Berea College. And I think many of you have seen that remarkable facility. It was one of the few swimming pools in this part of Kentucky. The University of Kentucky had one, but in his infinite wisdom, Francis J. Hutchins, who was an early president of Berea College, decided that every student who came to Berea College should be able to swim. And so that was one of the first goals that my dad had. And what he would do was line students up, and they would plop into the pool and make their way to the other end of the swimming pool while he stood there with his student instructors, which was part of the student labor program at Berea College, and they would check off the skill level of the student. And I'm happy to say that that program is still going on at Berea College. And another thing that happened at Berea was they had a model demonstration school for the education department. So some of us, Charlie and I, for example, went through the nursery school, kindergarten, elementary school, and high school that was connected with Berea College. And Charlie was one of the swimmers who enjoyed the swimming pool and participating on the foundation swimming team that was so illustrious and did so beautifully. What's your stroke, Charlie? I don't remember.
Backstroke.
Backstroke. Charlie was a backstroker. And I've had the opportunity to meet with some of the faculty members recently at Berea College, Ryan and Sean and all. And I know that my dad would be thrilled with the continuity of the swimming program at Berea College and the interesting things that they are doing now with survival skills and all kinds of boating skills, and they have people in scuba gears in the swimming pool. And I think one of the most interesting things they have done is they have a new, a dive-in instead of a drive-in. They show movies and people are in the swimming pool. It's amazing. But the tradition continues. And Charlie was one of the first ones to be a part of that swimming program. He would be thrilled. You want to say a few words?
No.
Charlie and I grew up together. He used to beat me up on the way home from school every day. So if he says no, I take him seriously. But thank you, and what a great opportunity for Berea Foundation to be recognized by the Madison County Hall of Fame like this. Thank you so much.
See, these are the things I love about this night, is learning little things like that. That's really cool. All right, so let's get to our individual inductees now. I don't like to read all the stats and everything. You can do that kind of by looking in your book. Some of these I know better than others, so I'll do what I can with the ones I don't know as well. But for you, you're going to have to learn that the first one tonight is somebody that's pretty special to me, so might be a little bit longer. I don't know, we'll see. Tony Cox played baseball at Madison Central High School, went back to coach there. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, lived over in Deacon Hills off Frankie Drive, and we had this I don't know, field across from our house that was always vacant, and just nothing was there, and we'd go pick blackberries over there actually, and everything. So one day I came home and I was a little upset because I saw that it was cleared out and we couldn't go over there anymore. Come to find out, it was Coach Cox that was building a house over there. So not only was he one of the assistant basketball coaches for a guy like me who was a really, really good JV bench player that didn't get off the bench a lot, by the way, but he coached me nonetheless. And so we kind of became close through him being a history teacher of mine and a coach, and then him living across from me was probably not a good combination with it, because then I don't know if I invited myself over or if he invited me over, I'm not sure. But we started watching the 1987 World Series, and I think we watched every game together. For me, I was just trying to go over there because he had cute girls. I was just wanting to see them. And I think he got the better of me because every time I came over, they were always gone. They were nowhere around. So I think he sent them away, even though I did take one of them to prom. I finally beat him down, and Shannon went to prom with me. But anyway, Tony he became really a friend. I mean, more than anything, because we sat there and just took in the 1987 World Series, Twins beating the Cardinals in 7 games. And that's when I learned about his history as well, and that he was a player, and that not only was he just a coach and teacher, but he was deserving of being in this Madison County Sports Hall of Fame. So please welcome Tony Cox.
Good man, buddy. Yeah, Keith said it all. We became instant friends, and I followed his career pretty much up until now. He was at Madison Central whenever I was there, and we become extremely good friends, and he was a part of that 1987 Madison Central basketball team that went to the state tournament, first time they'd ever been. And then I followed into Moorhead, and then Louisville, and then Lexington with Big Blue Nation. And he's a very special friend. I got a couple of things to say here. No speeches, but just a couple of notes. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee. They do a fabulous job. I'm glad that this thing got off the ground. And the best thing about it is it brings people together, brings teammates together, coaches together, and that's very special. Got 3 pretty close friends that has contacted me lately. Benny Roop, and Jimmy Kane and Jimmy Saylor. And they said, we can't wait to hear your speech. And I said, no, there's been no speech, but I'm just here to receive an award. So thanks a lot, buddy. I want to recognize my family. My wife, Marcia, and my oldest daughter, Shannon, and her son, Gabe. And I wanted to introduce my youngest daughter, Stacy, her husband, Stephen, and my granddaughter, Bailey, and my grandson, Brennan, and his fiancee, Caitlin. Wanted to make sure I did that. You know, baseball was always my first love. I played football and played basketball, but baseball was always my first love and meant a lot to me. I played Little League, Pony League, Colt League, American Legion, high school. And then on Sunday, we had a semi-pro team, and I was about 14 years old. They invited me to play on it, and that's on Sunday, and it's called Bluegrass League. And most of the guys I played with were like 20-year-olds, and they kind of took me under their wing. Had another guy that joined me about the same time, Jimmy Kane, and we both were the youngest guys to play. And it's probably really fortunate that we were able to be on that team and be around those guys. It wasn't unusual for, during my career, high school career, to be on 3 or 4 teams. We'd play 3 or 4 times a week, and then once on Sunday, and try to get a practice in every now and then also. That's just the way Coach Richardson, my coach, that's the way he coached, and he strived for perfection. I was very lucky to have a coach like Don. He pushed me. He loved baseball, and he conveyed that to his players. He kind of believed in me, even sometimes whenever I did not believe in myself. But he pushed me and made me a lot better player than I probably would have been playing for someone else. I had a great bunch of teammates, and we're still very close. We go to once a month. We get together, and we kind of had my sophomore, junior, senior year. We went to state tournament, and the nucleus of that team still meets together once a month. And our first baseman is there, our second baseman is there, our shortstop is there, our third baseman is there, our outfielders are there, our pitchers are there, and our catchers are there. There's one guy that doesn't meet, he's in Florida, and one passed away. But other than that, and that's pretty unique, and I appreciate that. I was lucky enough to sign a professional baseball contract upon graduation, and played a couple of years in the minor leagues, and that was really special because baseball was always special to me. That's about it as far as my career is concerned, and I hope I'm not out of line in doing this, but if you were a teammate of mine, a fellow coach, or a player that I played with, would you please stand up? I want to thank you for being a part of my sports, making my sports memorable. I appreciate you all. That's all. Thank you very much.
As he's getting his picture taken, I should also say, I take a little advantage here and say my mom is here, love her to death, way right there. My dad is here, love you to death. But I think we all sometimes have those people that we kind of consider like, you know, another set of parents or something, you know, and that's kind of this group. I always never call her Marcia, I always call her Mama. So, but anyway, congrats. Marquise Estel. First learned to him, I think, from my sister, who probably would come up to about his shin. But she was a cheerleader and was in school with him for a couple of years. And then when I moved from Hazard to work in Lexington, had a chance to kind of cover him a little bit. And unfortunately, I don't think I was able to be there for the run to the Sweet 16 because I was covering NCAA tournament at the time. But the good thing was I got the chance later, since he signed with the Big Blue, to be able to cover him there. And for all the stats that you can read in here about him, the thing I would say about him most was he was so enjoyable to talk to. After a game, before a game, he's one of the kindest, gentlest people you'll talk to, especially for such a big man. But you don't want to cross him on the court. I was looking up a little something today, and I saw a picture. He probably remembers it against Tennessee. It's a pretty good picture of him going up for a dunk, and he's got this grimace on his face, like, and two Tennessee guys kind of falling back. So, but yeah, again, that's I'm glad that now I get the chance to see him occasionally because he's still around the area, still coaching, and I always made sure, because these guys, when they go to UK, they don't know all the media, or at least they don't let on that they know all the media, who they are and everything. So I always made sure to say, I went to Madison Central, just like you. So please welcome into the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame, Marquise Estel.
How y'all doing? I usually don't talk much, don't really like talking in front of crowds, but I'm a little bit better at this now that I'll tell you a quick story. When I was at UK, my roommate, Marvin Stone, we called him Big Tree. Well, we had a communications class, and we had to give a speech in front of the class, and he had to go first. He gets up, he starts sweating. Next thing you know, his shirt's wet. He's just sweating, wiping his face off, and then I just start busting out laughing. I'm like, thank you, man. I'm gonna be good now. So, I did well on my presentation that day. But I'd like to thank the committee for this. Thank Coach Feldhouse, who put up with me for years. I remember my freshman year, he believed in me. And our first conditioning practice, we had to run a mile where everybody took off, running down through the city. And here I go. Everybody gets in front of me. I go hide around the corner somewhere. I was like, there's no way I can run a mile. But it took me 30 minutes. But he believed in me, he pushed me, and he prepared me to play at UK. I'd like to thank my family, my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my uncle, my wife, my kids. Thank my family for busting my tail when I did bad things growing up, And I'd like to thank Tubby Smith for developing me into a young man. He was a great coach. He was a father-like figure in my life. Still talk to him to this day. And that's it. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Now I'm sweating.
Well, then I must be good. Oh. Peg Saalfeld Harris, a remarkable swimming career at Model High School, 1975 to 81, and then younger me would have had a problem with going to Tennessee, but older me gets it. It's really cool. What's amazing to me is that 50-yard freestyle record, 24.36 seconds, lasted for 15 years. Pretty amazing, and went on to just great things at Tennessee. Looking to find out more about you right now. So please, Peg Saalfeld Harris, welcome into the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Harris, and I'm incredibly honored to introduce my mom, Peg Saalfeld Harris. My mom was a member of the varsity swim team at Model Laboratory School, winning 6 consecutive 50-meter freestyle state championships, from 1976 to 1981, and 2 100-meter freestyle championships in 1977 and 1978. She was a 3-time All-American and the state record holder in the 50-meter freestyle until 1991. After model, she continued her career at the University of Tennessee, where she was an All-American for medley and freestyle relay performances. I would like to note that the University of Kentucky didn't have a women's swimming program at the time. But anyway, go Cats. We're Kentucky fans. Swimming is in my mom's blood. The Softfelds have a history with the Kentucky swimming community. My mom's sisters, all swimmers in their own right, have worked the state meet many times over the years. Her niece and 2 nephews swam at Model, then at Transylvania University and Notre Dame. Her brother-in-law, the late Tim Cahill, coached at Model in Arlington and was named the 2010 National High School Swimming and Diving Coach of the Year. Despite being born into a swimming family, I unfortunately didn't inherit the gene. I had a short stint as a kid with a couple swim clubs, and my athletic interests lie elsewhere, namely on dry land. I played soccer at Center College, and when I was little, soccer was a sport that was basically foreign to my family, maybe because it couldn't be more different from swimming. No matter what sport you choose, my family understands the commitment and determination it takes to achieve great things. My mom's career had plenty of highlights, but she'll easily tell you about the lower moments too. While technically a team sport, swimming can be very solitary. You train long hours alone, underwater, and unable to socialize. Swimming consumes all of your time, and there isn't an off season. Summers were spent at meets across central Kentucky, and winter holiday breaks were opportunities to train even more. She lived just off campus and oftentimes walked to and from practice, even in the cold. One time her hair, still wet from practice, was frozen by the time she made it home. My mom swam for a lot of teams over the years and went to a lot of places. Junior nationals in Dallas, winter training in Florida, Division I collegiate swimming at Tennessee. But her favorite has always been Model. It's the team that mattered most to her. She got to swim with her sister Fuss, and it's where she met my dad, her husband of almost 38 years, Jamie Harris. One of her fondest memories is skipping practice during a snowstorm in the winter of 1978 to go sledding with the 2 of them and the rest of the team. She often mentioned stories like this when talking about her career. Don't get me wrong, the woman's very competitive. My dad and I run with her multiple times a week, and she'll chase down anyone in front of her on the trail. She swam her best for Model and could always bring her A game come state meet, hence the 6 50-meter freestyle wins. She really loved the electricity and buzz around the pool, especially the few times she got to swim here at EKU and Alumni Coliseum. She loved being with her team the most. Congrats, Mom. I'm so happy that we could all be here to celebrate you tonight. You deserve it.
Last night I went out to eat in Lexington and met this interesting fellow who was real into fly fishing and just talked about how much he got into it later in life and that he's gotten so good at it that some group in France invited him over to kind of teach fly fishing and everything. I thought that was really interesting, which kind of brings us to Rufus Harris, because what an interesting life, from a distance runner to a world champion horseshoe pitcher. I mean, I didn't know until I was given the names and everything. I don't know how many people knew that there was a horseshoe, Madison County horseshoe. Everybody know that, like before tonight? That was that group. Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to see him have run, a marathon at the age he did, to get into the world horseshoe pitching tournament later, and it's just a fascinating life. So here to talk more about it is his son, Terry Harris. Let's welcome in Rufus Harris to the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame.
My nephew's helping
Good.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit different. You've seen what Dad has done with the program, but I want to give you a few other things about him. He grew up in a place called Copper Creek. I don't know if any of you know where that's at, but probably the closest town around was Cartersville, Broadhead. Those were probably the big towns at the time. He graduated from Paint Lick High School, okay, in his teens. And there he was an outstanding baseball and basketball player. Once he graduated, he joined the Navy in his teens. And last thing he said was he remembers looking at the Golden Gate Bridge from underneath it as he was shipping out. They sent him to the Pacific. And I won't get into some of the stories, but there's some pretty heroic deeds that the man did. Now, when he came back from the Pacific, he went to school at Union College in Barbersville on the GI Bill. And from there, he was an outstanding athlete there. He was track and field, and his sport was pole vaulting. And I don't know, at that time, they probably used a bamboo pole instead of the nice fiberglass poles they have now. But he was very strong in his upper body. And he graduated Barbersville or Union College, and he got his first coaching job back at Paint Lick High, where he graduated from. He went back to Paint Lick, and he was a teacher and a coach there. And then from there, his coaching positions, eventually he wound up here in Madison County. He coached with Ray Vinsel, the basketball program there. Actually, I played a year or so while he was coaching. And then from there, softball, he coached. He coached basketball for the women's team. And he was always into some type of athletic event. Now, after this, he got into running. That was his first love of sport. He got into running. And his running mate, Paul Fagan, right over here, they ran races from Cincinnati to Miami, and they won many trophies in their divisions. But I'll tell you a little story that Dad told me. This is a race. He said he was in some little town somewhere. I don't even know if it was Kentucky. He said there was a nice little stream flowing along the course. It was a beautiful place. He says he takes off running that morning. He says as he got into the race, he said his stomach started bothering him, and he just felt awful. So he says, I pulled out of the race. I went down to the little stream that was moving pretty good, he says. I took my running shorts off, cleaned myself up, and he says all of a sudden they slipped out of his hand. There goes his running shorts. He's standing there bare ass. He says by the time he realized it, he took off running, and he finally caught his running shorts. He got them, he wrung them out, put them back on, and finished the race, 110%. You know, no trophies that day, but he made it through the race. And then as his health started to deteriorate, he took up horseshoes. And in a matter of like 3 years, he was very good. He was very instrumental in the Horseshoe Association here in Madison County. He practiced there. He had pits at home that were the exact measurement, the exact clay. And when he wasn't there, he was practicing at home. And then with that, guys, in 1993, he went to Spearfish, South Dakota, and won a world championship. You know, now another story with this is Mom drove him out. They drove out. Our mom drove out. Okay, they both drove out, and they went down to visit an old buddy of his in Reno. And I remember she called me and said, "Dad's he's not coherent. He's getting disoriented, and he doesn't really know where he was at." So, Mom, and there was no GPSs in, guys. She got her maps out, plotted her course, and said, "Get in the car, Rufus. We're going home." I can hear her now saying that. And she did. 4 or 5 days later, she winds up here in Richmond. She drove him all the way home. That's when his health really started to deteriorate. And as far as that, after that, the rest, it was a palsy that got him, so he was bedridden, but he didn't give up sports. He could watch them. And if it was Eastern or Kentucky or whoever was playing, he watched them until he passed away. So that was my dad. And this is Mr. Kenton Klaus right here, and he's going to help accept the award for my dad. Thank you so much. That's what we got.
We're honored to have the Madison County Pitching Club today. Matter of fact, they had a tournament this morning. We've got two state directors here. We've got Mr. Fagan is Paul. But we also have Dorian Grimes, who was on Daddy's first basketball team at Paint Lick. Mr. Grimes, would you stand up?
This is another one that's just fascinating. Mary Schuber Parker, cross-country track distance runner at Berea Community High School before achieving a lifetime career as a physician in the U.S. Army. High school All-American when she was at Berea Community High School, ends up serving 25 years in the Army, works for the Defense Intelligence Agency, Central Intelligence Agency, all of that, and reached the rank of colonel before retiring. Here to accept on her behalf is Heidi Schuber, her niece. Welcome into the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame, Mary Schuber Parker.
Hi, as he said, my name is Heidi Schuber. I'm Mary Parker Schuber's niece. I'm so honored to be here today. Hopefully I don't cry during this, because we lost her in 2021, and I think of her every day. She was an all-state runner here, a fierce competitor with a kind heart. However, her legacy didn't stop at the finish line. The same drive carried her through that 25 years of her service in the U.S. Army as a gynecologic oncologist, including service at Walter Reed and Tripler Army Medical Center in Hawaii. She was part of the remains recovery team at the Pentagon after 9/11, a true testament to her courage and commitment. After retiring the military, she continued to serve, first as a medical analyst for the DIA and CIA, and later in cancer drug research. Mary gave her all to her parents, country, her work, and without a doubt to her family. And I know she'd be so proud to be honored by all of you here today in the same county that first believed in her. Thank you.
Frankie Ray always intrigued me. I think the first time I remember him was seeing him on Pick Your Street in town running. And just constantly, we'd be driving somewhere and there's Frankie Ray going by. It wasn't until later, until I got into high school, that I realized he was a coach and just the nicest fellow that you could talk to. It's been fun for me again to be back in this area because I would see him out at Madison Central games and be able to catch up with him. And he tells me he watches me all the time, which means a lot. And just when I think Madison Central, I think he's one of the guys I think of because he just really puts so much in to coaching there, especially for me. I remembered him being girls basketball coach, also track and field. So I remember him doing so much. But again, just seeing him run the roads of Richmond was what I knew of him the most. And later in life, I became a little bit of a runner myself, and so kind of maybe pushed me a little bit, so, if you will. Here to accept on his behalf is Josh Ray, his grandson.
Told Keith he still watches him every day. Thank you, everybody. Frankie couldn't be here tonight. He's very sorry about that. Just a few things, started his career at Kirksville, so he wasn't always at Central. Coaching football, coached track and field, he coached everything under the sun, right? You can imagine how nauseating it was to grow up with a grandfather who knew everything about every single sport. And so I chose the one, like this young lady, I chose soccer and was like, this is the one sport he doesn't know about. And I'm like, I'll just be really good at that and he'll not know if I'm bad or good, or he won't know the difference. So it worked out really great. But yeah, just a couple things he kind of noted, started coaching track and field, got into football, and he wasn't even sure that when he started coaching girls basketball. So I said, it's probably like you're running, like you ran so far, you forgot how long you were going to run. And it's just like girls basketball, right? You coached it so long, you forgot when you even started, right? In the early 60s, managed Richmond City Pool, taught unknown number of children how to swim, myself included, on a building on this campus. I remember being like, younger than my daughters, and he just throw me in the pool and be like, all right, just start paddling, you'll be fine. So maybe I was like a little bit of a trial by fire there. He's testing me. Coached Little League Baseball, and then when he retired from Madison Central, was an assistant coach at Brewer College. Started running at age 39, so, it's never too late, I guess. Ran over 30,000 miles, knows coaches, students statewide, obviously, right? But I'm honored here to be up here today to accept this award on his behalf. Thank you to the nomination committee for such a deserving honor, to a man that dedicated 49 years of his life to the mentorship and betterment of young people. Although he always saw himself an athlete, from the aforementioned 30,000 miles, which is his statistic, I will say, it's not mine, it's his. So take that for whatever it's worth. 30,000 miles he ran around the streets of Richmond. And for those who don't know, he only had one eye. And so if he ever veered into traffic, thank you for not running him over. Like, maybe just giving him a honk and getting him back on the side of the road. We appreciate that. The countless road races that he ran with his running club, the Hager Hobblers. He once hit a jumper in Rupp Arena in front of Dr. J, which when he walked off the court, Dr. J said, "Nice shot, Governor." It's like the highlight of his life. He never lets anybody, if you ever meet him, he'll make sure you found that out about him. He finished second in a high school diving competition, which my Aunt Carolyn told me a really great story right before we got started here. When he was young, there was not a public pool to go practice diving in when he was in high school. And so somebody had told her that, well, where did he learn to dive like that? Well, there was an abandoned rock quarry down Berea Road that he used to people would drive by and see him diving off the side of the rock quarry. If you know the man, it makes sense, right? It makes total sense. He trained to qualify for the pole vault at the Penn Relays in his 50s. Again, picked up running in 39, right? Was already coaching track and field and said, you know what, I guess I'll try the pole vault while I'm in my 50s. And then in his 70s, he was training to be able to bench press 200 pounds by the time he turned 80. I was probably 20 at the time, and I was like, God, I can't bench press 200 pounds. And so, yeah, you can, talking about being pushed, you live with that guy, and he's going to push you. But I could go on and on. But I think ultimately it is fitting that he's recognized for all he did to coach and mentor others. Jackie Robinson once said, a life is not important except in the impact it has on others. Growing up, I couldn't go anywhere in the Commonwealth of Kentucky let alone Madison County, without somebody yelling, Frankie, or Coach Ray. And so it's evident to me and the rest of our family that he has made a lasting and tremendous impact on this community. I want to say thank you to all the coaches, the administrators, and the countless number of athletes that either knew or were coached by him. When I began my career in athletics, his advice to me was, don't worry about the big money because it may never come. Just work hard and have fun. He said, because I know out of all these years that he's been doing it, he knew he had a heck of a lot of fun. Congratulations to all the inductees of the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame class of 2025. Thank you.
I said last year when we put in Keith Bosley, I always liked going over watching them play when I was growing up. You know, just it was a different view, you know, than just watching Madison Central. It was getting to see different teams play and all that. And I'm just wondering, Eddie Simmons, is there anything you couldn't do? I mean, pick a sport, and he was an all-stater. I mean, it's just amazing when you go down through, please go down through the program and look at everything he did, because in addition to his football and basketball, he also did track and field and was ranked number 3 in the state in high jump. I mean, it's amazing. So please welcome to the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame, Eddie Simmons.
How's everybody doing? You know, I never spoken in front of a crowd before, so I'm kind of nervous. It's hard for me. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful. First, I want to thank God for blessing me. I might get a little emotional. I don't want to, but I came a very long way, a very long way. I'm very grateful and thankful. I'm honored by the committee. My family's over here. You know, I said I wasn't going to cry, because this is very special to me. I'm so thankful and grateful. This is my family, my daughter Tisha, my brother Mike, Renata, my niece, Jojo, my nephew, Don, my sister, Nika, my nephew, my niece, Veronica, my cousin, Victoria, my cousin, Miss Eleanor, my church member, and my pastor, Reverend Phelps. I'm so grateful and thankful. I'm going to say a few words. When my mama passed in 2018, I was on drugs real bad. And I went into rehab. I've been clean 5 years today. It's been a long journey, but God has truly blessed me. I wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for God in my life. I'm thankful for the committee for selecting me, and I'm thankful for Coach Maya Joe Love and all the coaches at Madison High, and I'm grateful to be a Royal Purple. Where's John at? John, thank you. Ryan over there, team member. I love y'all. I love y'all. I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful, and I'm very honored for God selecting me. In the name of Jesus, amen. Thank you.
All right, next up, if it was Tuck Woolham, I could talk about him all night. I know Tuck from a long time ago, but it's Jerry Woolham that we're talking about tonight. And here to help talk about him a little bit is Dr. Jim Coy, his teammate.
Good evening. One suggestion for the committee. I'm 83, Jerry's 84. We usually are in bed at this time. Last year, Roy Kidd's first team, the 1956 Madison Model football team, was inducted into this Hall of Fame. They were undefeated in the regular season, but lost to Paintsville in the Big Sandy Bowl, played in Paintsville. After that game, a young high school sophomore out of the mountains of eastern Kentucky knocked on Coach Kidd's motel room door. The young lad told Coach Kidd, "I want to be your quarterback next year." Coach Kidd asked, "What's your name, son?" He answered, "Jerry Woolham, sir." And that was the beginning of the Jerry Woolham saga. Now, for some of you younger folks under the age of 70, Jerry Woolham is Tuck Woolham's father. Tuck being that Hall of Fame EKU quarterback that led Eastern under Coach Roy Kidd to the 1982 undefeated season and National 1AA championship. Tuck's here tonight. Jerry's younger brother, Kerry, also a Madison model football star in the early to mid-'60s, played his college football for the University of Miami. He's here tonight, as his sister Sherry, several grandchildren, and of course, wife Kathy. I asked Jerry, who was my Madison Model High School football teammate, if I could give a short introduction before he comes up to receive this honor. And I wanted to do this mainly because I knew that he would not say some of the things I'm going to say. Jerry was a gifted multi-sport athlete, and under the tutelage of legendary Coach Roy Kidd, it would be in football that Jerry established himself as an elite high school quarterback. Jerry was awarded the Most Valuable Player Award in the prestigious Recreation Bowl in 1957. And listen to this, folks, again in 1958. A feat repeated only one other time in the 80-year history of the bowl. In 1858, Jerry was named the best high school quarterback in the state of Kentucky. Jerry went on to have an outstanding career playing football in the tough Southeastern Conference for UK, as he was the starting UK quarterback in 60, 61, and 62. Eddie Simmons can vouch for the toughness of the SEC in football, as can Marquise in basketball. In the 1961 season, Jerry was the leading passer in the nation. And then in the 7th game against Florida State, he broke his leg. In spite of this injury that cut short his season, he was still awarded third-team All-Southeastern Conference honors. Now, folks, nobody could pass a football like Jerry Woolham. Not only on target, but it had a softness to it. The ball just wanted to stay in your hands. I know this personally. Jerry's favorite target in high school was Jerry Walker, who cannot be here tonight because of age and time. And at UK, it was 3-time All-SEC, All-American pro football player Tom Hutchison. For many years after his UK football career was over, Jerry remained one of the top 2 or 3 players for total passing yards for a career in Kentucky football history. Postseason, at the end of his UK career, Jerry played in the North-South All-Star Shriners game. He was also invited to play in the Senior Bowl All-Star game and the Blue-Gray All-Star game, but he turned down those invitations as he turned his attention to getting accepted to medical school, which he did. And to this day, Jerry still continues to provide health care to the people in eastern Kentucky. You know, there are some people that are just born with the DNA to be leaders. They are nice people, kind people, caring people. But put them in a competitive situation and it becomes an all-in situation. Their speech becomes more direct. Their eyes convey total conviction to the task at hand. Adversities become opportunities. They become leaders. You would follow them to hell and back. Roy Kidd had that DNA. Jerry Woolham has that DNA. Jerry simply made the players around him better. I can assure you, for those people that were fortunate to be Jerry's teammate, the older players when Jerry was a junior, such as All-Staters Sam Chambers and Wayne Bolin, who is here tonight, and for those younger elite Madison model athletes that followed, Talbot Todd, Freddie Blue, David Rivers. It was Jerry Woolham that set the standard of what could be achieved from discipline, persistence, relentless work effort, and fierce competitive drive, not only on the football field, but in life as well. And for Jerry's grandkids that are here tonight, athletic accolades and all glory, kids, it's fleeting, here today and gone tomorrow. So what I'm most proud about Jerry is what should make you the most proud of your grandfather is that he has dedicated his life caring for the health and well-being of the people in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, and that lasts forever. As former high school football teammates of Jerry, Wayne Bolin and myself are here tonight representing all of Jerry's former teammates who are no longer with us in thanking this Hall of Fame committee for honoring Jerry in this manner. And what did Roy Kidd think of Jerry Woolham? Well, in the 6 glorious years, 1956 through 1961, that Coach Roy Kidd led the Madison Model, Richmond Madison Royal Purples football team, Coach Kidd retired just one player's jersey, number 12 of Jerry Woolham. Come on up here, Jerry.
Wow, I am overwhelmed after an introduction like that. It was so flattering and almost embarrassing. I should say, Jim, thank you, and just sit down. But I do want to thank everyone involved with this event, especially the selection committee for inducting me for this special award. I especially want to thank my old teammate and lifelong friend, Dr. Jim Coy, who I know was instrumental in me receiving this honor. My God has blessed me all my life. I was first blessed to have the 2 finest parents a child could ever hope for. They devoted their entire life to the well-being of their 4 children. I spent my early years in a small town in eastern Kentucky, Everett in Harlan County. My father was principal of Everett High School. And like you know, there's bullies in every school. And of course, some of the older boys thought I was a privileged child to be the principal's son. The bullies came calling. I assure you, I learned to protect myself at an early age. Between my sophomore and junior year, my father received his doctorate and became a professor at Eastern Kentucky University. Thus, the big move to the big city of Richmond. I could never tell you how amazed I was at how I was treated. The people of Richmond and Madison County treated me like I was born and raised here. The 2 years that I spent at Madison Model High School were absolutely wonderful and still 2 of the most memorable years of my life. I was blessed with wonderful teammates and classmates, and by 3 coaches who were not only great coaches, they were great men. Bobby Williams, baseball, Zeb Blankenship, basketball, and perhaps the greatest football coach of all time, the legendary Roy Kidd. After 2 wonderful, marvelous years at Madison Model, I was blessed once more when I was fortunate enough to receive a football scholarship to the University of Kentucky. There, again, wonderful classmates and teammates, and a coach who is the same caliber as Coach Kidd, that being Blanton Collier, also known as the Gentle Giant. After 4 wonderful years, and they were quick years, they went by so fast, I was blessed once more when I was received to the College of Medicine at the University of Kentucky. It's enabled me to pursue a career and a profession that I have enjoyed every moment and still enjoy to this day. I have never gone to work a day in my life that I thought was work. I considered it a privilege. What a joy it is to know that maybe you are helping someone else's life be better. But I know my greatest blessing has been my family. I have had 2 beautiful, loving, devoted wives, 4 sons who were all great athletes, and today are great men and great fathers. 11 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. And now, late in life, I am blessed once more to receive this wonderful award. I humbly accept it. I am honored and proud to join those many great athletes that have been inducted before me, those being inducted tonight, and I congratulate each and every one of you, and those that will be inducted into the future. Thank you again, and God bless.
All right, Brad Winkler, 1980 Madison Central graduate who was a 3-time member of the Kentucky All-State team. Went on to play at Mississippi State. My younger self would have been upset. No. Let me just read this because this is pretty amazing. Completed his collegiate career at Mississippi State, leader for games played, doubles, and walks, and set SEC career records for runs, at-bats, hits, triples, home runs, RBI, and stolen bases. That's amazing. Also was in the New York Yankees system. Please welcome to the Madison County Sports Hall of Fame, Brad Winkler. I should also say, before he gets up here, if nobody said it to you before, I think you had to be part of what set that foundation, for what was to come with the undefeated state championship. So you're a part of it.
My brother would tell you I had nothing to do with it. He said they were better than me. So. I would first like to congratulate all the members of the 2025 class of the Madison County Hall of Fame for the induction tonight. All of those have been inducted in the previous years, and it is truly a great honor, and I want to thank the committee. It's a moment that I will personally cherish for the rest of my life. And I want to say, Eddie Simmons, God bless you. We were at Daniel Boone Elementary together. A shout out to Coach Jimmy Allen for our early dodgeball training. I think it made us what we are today. And I know it's been a long night, and I don't want to keep you any longer than is necessary, but I only get to do this one time. So I've got some things I think I need to say that are on my heart. And Eddie, if I cry, it's your fault because you said it was okay. Most of my greatest memories growing up were right here on the sandlots of Richmond Little League. It was a different time back then, and I can tell you, having raised 3 sons who participated at various levels of travel ball today, I wouldn't trade my experience for what they went through with all of the commercialization and the long road trips. In our day, we always had to scramble for a place to practice, and we'd throw down a burlap bag to use as bases. Staying at it until dark because we didn't have lights. We'd use a freshly mowed cow pasture or a vacant lot somewhere here in town and sometimes get run off because we were trespassing. But you had to have a place to play. If we ever actually got to practice on Earl Combs Field, now that was a special day because you actually got to practice somewhere where there was a dugout to sit down in and there was actually a real fence. There was a time when we played for the love of the game in its purest form, and the feel of a real wooden bat in your hands before they brought in those awful aluminum bats that I never could stand. And I can tell you that I relive those days in my mind quite often. And on this night, I'm reminded of all the people who made this possible. And I, for one, am well aware that when a man is singled out for individual honors, no man stands alone. And there are several people, too many to name, that I could thank tonight. Too many to name are the teachers and the coaches and the teammates that I had over the year that had a part in my love affair with baseball. I'd like to thank my parents, Brian and Jean. They instilled in me a love for the game that would never die. My brother Cliff for throwing batting, he's hiding his eyes, throwing batting practice to me from time to time so I could learn how to hit lefties, and working alongside our father to build our very own baseball field on the family farm. And she's not going to believe this, but my sister Marcia, for enduring a life where every family activity revolved around playing ball, and that was the life she had to experience. My three sons, Dustin, Eli, and Ethan, and my favorite daughter, Amanda, I had to say that, for putting up with all the stories I've told about how things were back in my day. To my three grandsons, whose time will come to hear those stories, but you're not ready for those yet, Swayze. To my wife, Anita, who wasn't around for those glory days, but she does allow me to hang my plaques on the wall at the house. There's one other person that I cannot leave here tonight without thanking, and many of you will know his name when I say it, as a very good player in his own right, as a catcher at Madison Central. And he spent some time playing junior college baseball in Tennessee, and that is Doug Cornett. When I graduated from Central it was actually 1978. You're making me younger than I actually was. But when I graduated from Madison Central, it appeared that my playing days were over. I had never been contacted by a college coach. I had never had anyone outside of my circle show any interest in my ability to play at the next level. It just so happened that Doug Cornett returned home to Richmond that same summer, and he put out the word that he wanted to coach a team. And what he found was a ragtag bunch of guys like me who loved to play ball and wanted to play at least one more season. And we picked up games here and there. I don't know if we were even affiliated with any organization, but somehow Doug picked up games. We played ball. And at some point during that summer, he asked me where I was going to go play college ball. And I, of course, told him I didn't have anywhere to go. Now, he didn't really have to take that interest in my future, but Doug began to write letters on my behalf to colleges throughout the South. And I don't know exactly what was in that letter, but it must have been pretty good, because I began to receive brochures in the mail and that was real mail, not email for you young people. I got brochures in the mail from faraway places like Florida and Tennessee for junior colleges. There was one person of all those that received that letter that responded personally, and that was Coach Ron Polk at Mississippi State University. And in the small world we live in, he actually knew Doug because he had recruited Doug when he was in junior college, and he remembered his name, and he called Doug, who then gave him my information, and Coach Polk called me. And he said, I know Coach Cornett knows the game. I respect his opinion. And you're welcome to come to Starkville, Mississippi and try out for our team. Well, that was all I needed to hear. I was recruited at that point, and I didn't know who he was on the other end of the line, but that guy was telling me he was going to give me a chance to play ball. And so later that summer, 47 years ago, my parents drove me 560 miles, dropped me off in front of MacArthur Dormitory, and left me. Literally, they did. And it turned out pretty good. I had a lot of good experiences. The good Lord has always seen fit to bring people into my life at the right time, at the right place, to give me the opportunities to chase a dream that I was able to pursue for a few more years. It was important to me not to let them down. And I became a man playing a boy's game, and that's all I ever really wanted to do. Now, there's a poem. I know, I'm sorry. I'm going to read a poem. There's a poem that I always felt expressed better than I could my feelings about the people who have helped me in my life. And I hope I get through this one. It's a poem by Richard M. Peck Gunn. He is the poet laureate of Tennessee, or was at that time, so don't hold that against me. But the poem is called The Even Score. It says, I have lived all my life as I found it, amassed neither silver nor gold. I found as the years close around it, the things that count most I can hold. I have played the game fair as I've seen it, according to my point of view, but realize that others who saw it may choose to take issue and do. I have seen good men pitch when their pitching was tops, and they gave all that they had, and lost not because of their pitching, but because all the fielding was bad. Another man pitched and his pitching was poor, and still he got the hurrahs. He won not because of his pitching, but because of the person he was. I've heard the ump call them in pinches when the game was still hanging on fate. I've heard him scream out when by inches the runner was safe at the plate. And then the scene changed with the inning. The grandstand came up with a shout. The umpire yelled safe for the runner when everyone knew he was out. But somehow these things will be righted. We reap what we sow, perhaps more. And the things that today seem benighted, tomorrow will even the score. So I've lived all my life as I found it, and to me the game has been good. Some of the players have cheated, but most played the best that they could. And if you should ask me one question and give me no room for to rave, I have to be honest and tell you, I've received a lot more than I gave. Thank you.
One of the highlights of the event has been the help we've received. This guy right here, Keith Farmer. As the selection committee meets every year, we always want to recognize Keith's contribution. This is just a gift of appreciation.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me again.
Okay.
Okay, all right, you got it. As we kind of wrap up here, I told you first off, we'd hear some great stories, right? I love hearing from everybody. When you, those of you that were put into the Hall of Fame, make sure that your plaques come back up here. You get to keep the little crystals that are on your tables, but the plaques are going to be put up in the library, so we need those back to make sure they. And then also, the banners, we'll help you get them down, but those are for you to take home, so you'll get the banner. And then as you bring up your plaque over here, I'm just going to put this down. Would each of you sign your picture? Cool. And do you need a picture? Do you need to get a picture back here with them or no? All right, and then inductees, please, there's a backdrop over here, Madison County Sports Hall of Fame. Just meet back there, and we're going to get a picture of the group, okay? All right, 2025 Madison County Sports Hall of Fame. That is it. We'll see you next year for number 5.